What's up, guys? Welcome to Chalk It Up episode 1 again.
A place to be where you want to chalk and talk. Sorry, chat and talk. Chat talk?
Chat talk.
Chat talk.
Chat
Chalk.
talk. Chalk it up. Yeah, so I mean, pretty much if you've never heard any of our podcasts before, actually, this is our first
On video. For Chalk It Up.
Yeah, but if you've never heard podcasts before, what it is it's myself, J-Toe, and
Bronf.
And we'll just be chatting and talking up whatever's on our mind, giving you the biblical perspective.
And hopefully this kind of helps you get you guys thinking and taking some truth as well too.
Yeah.
Together.
So for today, episode 1, it's the back to school special.
Back to school, but not in the context of, it's August and you're getting back to school in September. I guess, shall we call it now is the season of like conferences and
missions trips,
short-term missions trips.
Yeah, well, it's spring break, right? Or March break.
So March break.
So maybe you actually did go overseas or helped out at church or something like that. Maybe you went to a conference. Maybe you just like chillax and whatever. But now we're back to school, and it's like, now what?
Yeah. Now that you guys been filled with a lot of learning, maybe you guys are like on fire right now for God, but is it panning into action? What's happening in your life? Like, are you just going to kind of keep it to what you've learned and just kind of ball it up, or are you going to start doing something with what you've learned?
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's just get down into business. So I think, we're always wondering like, okay, now that I've learned all these new things, what can I do? Or sometimes maybe you've been in school for the last like few months and you're like, okay, well, how do I live out my faith? Like, there's church on Sunday, and then there's the rest of the 5 days at school. Like, what do I do?
Mm-hmm. I think we got to ask yourselves, or ask for you guys, where's my mission field? Where am I going to spend my time sharing the gospel? Where am I going to share my faith with other people? And I think for you guys as students, the most natural and most, I guess, obvious one would be school, right?
School, baby.
School. And the verse we want to go through today is just kind of like to look at school being your mission field, and what you're going to take from all the things that you've learned is, let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 5. And I'll just read it out, and we'll kind of unpack it together. This is like Apostle Paul talking to Timothy. As for you, always be sober-minded, endure suffering, do the work of an evangelist, fulfill your ministry. So let's take a look at it in each one. So the first one, it says, be sober-minded. So what do you think Paul is saying here in terms of sober-minded?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's like when you think of sober, you think, okay, don't be drunk. But, just unpacking that further, you guys had the time off. Maybe you were able to clear your mind. Maybe, you helped serve people, or you went to a conference or whatever. Usually after periods like that, it's like, oh, yeah, I feel so close to God. Like, I can do anything. I'm on fire. Yeah. But, like, remember, like, when you go back to school, like, you're kind of like hitting reality, and the closeness, I guess, that you felt with God. You're not going to be able to like be singing songs 24/7. You're not going to be able to always rely on like the I don't know, youth leaders or whatnot that were always like beside you, helping you, guiding you and stuff like that. So it's like, be on guard, be ready to go back, you're back into reality.
Yeah. And be careful, like, even when we use the word spiritual high, it kind of like you said, it's like there's a connotation of being drunk-like, in the sense that you're kind of in this euphoric state, like you're with such close brothers and sisters, and you're on fire, and you're seeing a lot of amazing things, friendships develop. But we have to be careful with that in terms of sober-minded. We can't let just solely on just going by emotions, these are necessarily spiritual. And sometimes it can be, and it is, but we have to be careful in terms of knowing, be sober-minded, to discern, to truly know, like, is this joy I'm experiencing coming from Christ Jesus, or is it because I'm in a fun thing, that we're doing fun things with a group of people that I'm spending a lot of time with? Mm-hmm. So,
well, yeah, I guess,
and then go through withdrawals after, kind of like, I'm all alone now. What to do?
Yeah, I guess you kind of find out more about that when you're actually doing it on your own, and definitely when you're bringing it back to school and you're doing, like alone, like it's like a totally different thing or brand new thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next part we'll go into is endure suffering.
Boom. Enduring suffering. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the nature of like you're back to reality. Like you had that time off to spend with God, right? And yeah, like not everything's just gonna be like fine and dandy now that, I don't know, you feel like closer to God or whatnot, right? Like reality hits, school is hard, family is hard, finding friends or just the friends that you have, drama and all these things, like they're it's just, it's bombarding you, right? And sometimes it's just like, oh, what do I do? And it's not, it's not gonna be like easy street. It's not like, oh yes, I have God, everything's easy, right? Yes, God will give you that peace that surpasses all understanding, right? But that's totally different from, oh yeah, it's fine, it's good, I'm good, like it's easy. No, it's not, right?
Especially looking within the school context, expect to be persecuted. You're going to have people that, first of all, aren't going to take in the gospel message. The gospel does offend, right? And you're going to have people who have different beliefs or believe in a different faith that are going to be against you in that sense, in terms of where your faith is. So expect to suffer in that sense, but you ought to persevere within that suffering as well too. But as Justin was saying, like, don't expect everything going to be like just bliss all the time. The Bible's pretty clear that you're going to face obstacles and hardships.
Yeah, I think we're in North America, and we do have the opportunity to live in a society where you can worship freely. And yes, we are taught like to be open-minded and to be accepting, was it, or tolerant, thank you. And to be tolerant. So I mean, yes, here and there you're gonna have people that like, it's cool that you're Christian, like whatever, and stuff like that, right? And so like, I guess take advantage of the fact that you are in Canada and you can preach the gospel openly, but at the same time, yes, sometimes people will disagree with what we believe and stuff like that, and that's kind of when you get the resistance, and like sometimes that even bleeds into like friendships as well, right? It's like you believe something so strongly, but then your friends, like, they disagree with it or whatnot, and there's tension there, right? But that's kind of a part of like enduring, right? Like what is more important, right? Is it God or like these temporary friendships that are around? And not to say like friendship is like not important, it is, right? But I guess like it's more important to find that support, that godly support that can keep you accountable and continue to spur you on and help you grow in your faith.
Fear God, not man, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, the next part, do the work of an evangelist.
Boom. First thing that comes on mind is Matthew 28, verse 19. Go make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. And that's the thing. It's called the Great Commission, but we like to treat it as the Great Suggestion, right? It's just like, like I want to tell people, but like I'm scared and I don't know how to do it, and I don't know how to. I mean, that's kind of why we want to talk about this. Like, how do we do that? How do we live out our faith and tell people about Christ?
Yeah, and I think the key thing is thinking about it is we're always asking for opportunities, but the opportunities are always there.
Yeah.
I think the thing we need to be praying for is boldness and able to look at who are the people in our lives. I think in our church, we always talk about red apples, people who are ready to hear the message, people who are kind of in a place where they're ready for spiritual discussions and ready to engage you and have the patience to sit down and talk to you about spiritual things, or willing to listen to your faith. Mm-hmm. And it's very key to identify those people, because you don't want to be spending your time trying to, break the backs of people. It's like, no, I want no part of this, whatever. You know what I mean? Pray for those people for sure, mm-hmm. but take advantage of those who are there in your life already, that's ready to hear the gospel, that's ready to hear who is that living God that you claim to believe and have faith in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're saying like stand up on a table in your cafeteria and be like, believe in Jesus, you know what I'm saying? But the people already in your life, like it's but it's about serving them, right? I mean, maybe you do take a more direct approach and you go like, what do you think's gonna happen after you die, or something like that. But like sometimes, like your friends the best, right? And it's just like pour into the lives of your friends, like actually see how they're doing, right? And I think maybe that's just culture today where, it's more like surface level. It's like, hey, what's up? I'm good. All right. And then you kind of like just walk your separate ways. But building relationship, like that's what love is. Like loving other people is being involved in each other's lives. And yes, that will take time out of your life. That will add to your like stress in a sense, hearing about other people and what they're going through and stuff like that. But like, as Christians, we are called to love. And I mean, we preach the gospel not just because we're told to, but because, we want to love the people around us, right? And like the greatest love that we can show is by telling other people about the greatest love of all, which is Jesus Christ dying on the cross for our sin, right? So that's what it's all about.
And last part, fulfill your ministry. So I think it ties along with what you just talked about before in terms of the Great Commission. And this is about obedience, right? And just thinking about, you're talking about the Great Suggestion. Think about it, if we're disobedient to be doing this ministry, we're doing the great omission. We're like, okay, I want no part of this. I know all these things, I know the gospel, but I'm going to actively not sharing about this. So think about it, you're choosing disobedience at that point.
Yeah, I think like when it comes to fulfilling your ministry, it's like, God has placed you where you are for a specific reason. The high school that you're in, later on university, later on in your job, like you're there for a specific reason. You're not just there just because, I don't know, you worked your way up there. Like that is a mission field within itself to reach the people there, right? And God will use you. So I think that's really important to keep in mind when it's like fulfilling your mission, right?
And think about the time that you spend at school. I mean, you're there with them for 8-9 hours a day for 9 to 10 months in a year. And how much time that you have in terms of opportunities to share about your faith to those people who need to hear the gospel.
Yeah, I think that's like a huge thing right there. Like you probably see the people at your school more than you kind of see the people at your church, unless they actually go to your school as well, right? And I think that's the important thing. Like, the things that you can do at school, you couldn't do like in the church. Like, so what I mean by that is like, at church and the fellowship youth group you go to, like you're just doing stuff in the church. But if you're with other Christians, at school, like you can do like a lot in your own, in your schools, and you can serve people, and you can, I don't know, it's just really important to find those people in your school that like are Christian.
Yeah, find that community. For sure.
Yeah, exactly. And it may be like a crowd of people that you don't normally hang out with or whatever, but like, who cares? You're Christians, right? You're brought together because of Jesus Christ, right? We're brothers and sisters in Christ. And I mean, as much as like, yes, we like share the gospel, that's really important. It's also important to find that support, to find that community, Yeah, exactly.
So we just want to leave you with, just think about it. If you really haven't thought that your school is a missions field, really reflect on that, pray about that. And, once again, think about who are those people that God has placed in your life right now that is, that does have spiritual questions or things that, they're questioning about themselves when it comes to spirituality, or is open enough to listen to you in terms of who is this Jesus that you claim to believe and have faith in.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. So we hope you guys are encouraged when you guys are back at school. You're probably already back at school. But yeah, seek out those opportunities, like really like observe, and, but yeah, this has been Chalk It Up episode 1, back to school. This is Justin.
Bronf.
And we'll see you guys next time.